Well, this is it. This is the final haul in a very long course that has taken you through a number of different ways of writing, number of different formats of writing, and a number of ways to display your writing. So here what we have is the final culminating activity. It is a portfolio that demonstrates your writing and what you've learned throughout this course. It is located in Unit 6, Activity 1, which has been open since the very beginning of the course. But I did want to let you know that I've made a few changes that I hope make it a little more simplistic to understand exactly what is expected of you. And I'm going to go through that right now. As we scroll through, there's a lot of information in all of this. And this is just information about if you were to become a published writer and ways to protect yourself. There is nothing you need to do with any of that, but there might be some information there that might help you with choosing a form and way to display your portfolio. So let's get into this. At the very beginning here in consolidation, I've outlined and I've created some bolded words so that you can get the gist of what's expected. And I've made a few more bullet points. It may look a little different than it did prior to the new year. So here are some things that I'm going to go through, and hopefully these make sense. I understand you can read. I'm just going to go through these. If you have questions, don't hesitate to email or reach out. All right, so what is the final culminating activity? It is worth 30% of your marks, and it is a display of your previously written pieces and one new piece. So there's some decisions that you need to make, and going back and looking at the poems that you wrote, the short stories that you wrote, and the personal narrative that you had the opportunity to write in Unit 5, Activity 1. So, starting here, what you're going to do is you're going to go back in through your assignments and you're going to look up and choose 3 pieces. It has to be one piece that's a short story from Unit 1, one that's poems or a collection of poems, 1 or 2 poems from Unit 2, and Unit 3, we only did one personal narrative. So it's very important that you completed that assignment, and or if you did not, then you can include it here plus one additional piece. This does not count as your new piece if you did not submit an assignment. Say you didn't complete any of the short stories, you need to submit a short story here. So if you did not have one to choose from, then you have to write it and include it as one of these 3. Okay, so just to make sure that you understand that what your final portfolio is essentially is 4 pieces, 1 from each of those units, and that should say Unit 5. I apologize for that. Unit 1 wasn't really necessarily short stories. I'm going to have to change a little bit of this, but short stories, poems, and personal narratives, those are the 3 forms that we did. So you need to have one of each of those and a new piece. It can be any of those. It can be a short story, a couple of poems, or a personal narrative. Okay, so let's make sure that we have 4 pieces in total that we're going to include. Okay, so what I would like you to think about doing is with these previously written pieces, I would like you to think about possibly editing, correcting, or changing parts of it to make it better. And if you do that, if you make any changes to your original work, I want you to make sure that you have a copy of the original, and you're going to submit both the new copy with changes and the original copy showing me your improvements. So what you're going to do for each of these pieces, you're going to write a preface in why you chose this particular work and what you really like about it, or what you did to improve it if you made changes to it. And finally, you're going to include a new piece of work, one of those 3, a short story, collection of poems, or a personal narrative. And then you're going to submit it in a format of your choosing. There's a few more pieces that I want to talk about, but here's the key gist. You're going to have 3 previously written pieces and a new piece. So there's 4 written total. And for each of the 3 or 4, if you want to do it, you can include a preface explaining why you chose that work and what's important about it, what changes did you make, etc. So you're going to do that for each of them, not as a general introduction, for each one of them. And so you're going to put all of those together in a format that you can submit electronically. So those are the key focuses that I want you to think about, what you need to do to put in your portfolio, what your writing shows. Then what you're going to do right here is you need to share it with somebody. And I've put in here that classmate can be online or in person. Online, you can make connections to students by going into the class list and looking at those who you can email. Maybe some students are in your school, but you can reach out to one of those students. I realize that may not be easy or accessible to everybody, so I put in person. You must exchange or show your portfolio to a classmate. They are going to give you feedback, written feedback on the completion of your portfolio, on the specific forms and elements that you used and how well you used them, and how good the portfolio presentation is. There are rubrics and other things down below that they can use in order to gather this information, but they're going to write for you a summary as to what they thought about your portfolio. Bonus marks are for when your name is attached to another student's in class. So you could email your fellow classmates and you could say, hey, I would really like to edit someone's for bonus marks. If anybody would like me to look over their portfolio, let me know. So while I'm going through your portfolios and I see another student's name attached to that, in addition to having someone look over theirs, they're going to get bonus marks for having looked over yours. So it's a reciprocal thing. If you can't find someone else, or you don't want to do that for someone else in the classroom, then you must find someone in person or in your own life that will look through your portfolio and give you a written response as to the elements of your portfolio that were well done, or what was well done, or what feedback they have for you. Okay, so we have 4 pieces with prefaces in them. They're a little written summary, and we're putting them together in our portfolio. You're going to share that with somebody and possibly provide feedback on someone else's. Last but not least, you are going to reflect on the writing process. You can use these prompts. You can go in whatever direction you would like. I would like you to include lots of detail in responding to these. You can choose any or all of them. But I would like to see a significant response. So in terms of typing, I would say probably about 3/4 of a page should be looking at these and what you learned throughout the course. So your final project that you are going to submit is a polished portfolio that includes 4 pieces of writing, that has prefaces that explain why you chose those pieces. You're also going to have feedback from a peer or student in this class, either in person or online. Portfolio feedback needs to be provided to you, and you include that in your portfolio. Whoever looks through your portfolio needs to write something, and you're going to include that. And last but not least, you're going to do a reflection on writing, and then you're going to hand in that work. I hope that makes sense. There's a few little last minute changes that I need to do just in terms of changing this. Unit 1 was all about developing prompts and writing strategies. Unit 2 was all about short stories. Unit 3 was poems, and Unit 5, because we did not do Unit 4, was all about personal narratives. So if you have any questions, if you're really concerned about this 30% of your mark, it is so vital that you do this project. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I just wanted to show you that you are going to have the entirety of 3 weeks, essentially. It is due on the 26th of January. You need to make sure that it's handed in there. We have some lieu days, a little bit of play, but not much. So it's really important that you're using your time and getting all of these pieces so that they're handed in on time.